What's up, my friend? Welcome to the Finding Direction podcast. My name is Stu Massengill, and I'm here every single week to bring you a passionate guest or message dedicated to helping you find your purpose so that you can live a life full of passion, fulfillment, and happiness. From the bottom of my heart, thank you for hanging out with me, and let's dive in. What's up, my friend? Welcome back to the Finding Direction podcast. I want to say thank you, as always, for coming and tuning in with us here. Whether this is your first time joining us on the podcast or whether you are a seasoned veteran who's been with us for a year, 2, 3, maybe even 4 years, it is good to have a conversation with you again. And as we kick off today's episode, what I would love to do is let's take a quick moment and center ourselves in a little bit of gratitude. Sometimes it's easy to move, to, continue to push forward in our life and ignore taking a moment to appreciate everything that we have in our life right now in this moment. And the truth, I think, that we can all agree upon is that this moment is the only moment that we ever have in our life. So let's take a moment right now, and I want you to ask yourself, what is one thing that you could be truly deeply grateful for in your life? Is it that you're excited about some work that you're doing in your life and you're grateful that you have that opportunity? Is it that you're not excited about the work that you're doing and you're grateful because you know that there's something better that's coming? Is it that you're grateful that you have clothes on your back? Is it a relationship that's in your life? Is it that you got some exercise in? Like, what is just one thing that you can be grateful for? And I want you for just a few seconds to just let that run itself through your mind, that gratitude. Let's take a few seconds. You could put your hands on your heart if you'd like. Maybe feel the beat of your heart. And just take a few more moments to feel how grateful you are for whatever it is that you're thinking of. All right, my friend. Beautiful. I hope you enjoyed that little piece of gratitude to go into your day. And today's podcast, we're going to be talking about how to get your next job without a job application. And, I know I get excited about a lot of the conversations we get to have on the show, but this is truly one that I'm excited about to share with you. And before we dive in, if you have not yet, make sure you hit the subscribe button so you can hang out with us every single week on the show as we bring you conversations and insights to create a life full of passion, fulfillment, and happiness. So smash that subscribe button, and then let's dive into the juiciness that this episode holds. So again, today we're going to be talking about how to get your next job without a job application. Now, to give you a few stories of my own life where this has shown up time after time after time, is for me, when I first got out of college, I was looking and trying to, take it back. When I was in college, I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do with my life. I was trying to sort of navigate, and for me, I thought I wanted to be in action sports. And so what I did is I ended up, to save you a long story, working for a company called Vans. And I never submitted one job application for Vans, but I got the job and I was hired in about 30 days, so relatively quickly. Then later on in my life, when I wanted to start working in the personal development industry, I wanted to work for this guy, Tony Robbins. And again, I ended up getting hired for him. That one took a little bit longer. That was about a 3-month process. But to get hired for Tony, I never put in an application. I simply did it through a different strategy, and that's the strategy that I want to talk to you about today. Because if you're looking for your next career, if you're looking for your next job, I've heard so many stories of friends that go through this process where they're trying to find a job that they like, and you spend hours every single week, maybe even hours every single day, scrolling job applications, right? You go onto LinkedIn, you go onto Glassdoor, you go on to ZipRecruiter, you go on to all these different things, and you just scroll and say, okay, is that a company that I like? Do I match the requirements? Is that one that I want to apply to? Okay, sure. Boom, hit the application, on to the next. And you end up going through this process where you submit one, you submit another, you submit so many applications. A few of them get back to you, and if you're fortunate enough, one ends up hiring you But then a whole other aspect to that is, well, did you actually get a job into a career that you're excited about, or did you just get one that was just one that you figured, whatever, I might as well apply for this because I need to get a job, and here's another application that I qualify for and I can apply for, right? So many friends, again, I've heard go through this process. They're looking for a job. They're trying to figure out what's next, and you can get stuck into this loop of applying for job after job after job and eventually getting hired, hopefully, and for a lot of people, still staying in that loop and never actually getting hired. So what I want to talk to you about today is, let's, for the next little bit, throw the job applications out of the window. I want you to imagine a world where you're not scrolling for hours, you're not applying to all these jobs, and I want you to take in this other way that you can get a job. And what it is through leveraging the power of referrals and networking. Now, when I was hired for Vans, I did it through networking and someone that I knew. Now, when I got hired for Tony Robbins, I got hired because I knew someone who knew someone that worked for the organization, and I got hired that way. Now, I know for some of you, you may be listening to this and you may go, you know what, Stu, I don't know as many people as you. I don't know that many people in general, and I just don't think networking and getting referral could actually work for me. And if that's the case, I'm so excited that you're part of today's episode, because I have some exciting things I want to share with you on, even if you feel like you don't know a ton of people, even if you feel like you don't have the most powerful network, how you can still use this strategy to land your next job. And so before we dive into sort of the how-to of some of those strategies, I want to share with you a few statistics on referrals and networking when it comes to job applications. And my friend, my hope is that this starts to just open up your mind and blow your mind really on this side of getting a job. And so here are a few stats to just open your mind a little bit more to the opportunity of referrals and networking to get your next job. So here are a few stats. And these are all stats I found on, the internet through different various websites, right, that are all verified. So here are a few. Employees who got referred are 4 times more likely to get hired than those who don't. Just let that one sit for a second. Employees who get referred are 4 times, aka 400% more likely to get hired than those who don't. It's a massive, massive portion. Another stat is that 60% of jobs are found through networking, not online with companies like ZipRecruiter, Glassdoor, and LinkedIn. 60%. Again, let that sink. 60%, a massive portion. More than 50% of jobs are found through networking. All right. Then another stat, 82% of employers placed referrals above other options for yielding a better return on investment. Okay, let these sink in. I got 3 more for you, right? Again, 82% of employers placed referrals over other options of hiring people. 82%, massive portion. So they're looking to hire people through referrals. Another one is that the average bonus paid to an employee for a referral in 2019 was $2,500. So not only do 82% of employers place referrals above other options, they are not just talking, they're actually speaking with their wallet. Most companies have some sort of a referral program where they will literally pay employees if they refer someone that gets hired to the company. Because when they don't do it, when they go through the application process, they got to work with recruiters. They have to pay them money. It takes longer time usually. There's so much cost in a business to hiring people through applications. So that's why a lot of internal companies internally, they will actually pay their employees to bring people on through referrals. So look at that. Like when you reach out to someone and you ask for a referral, you ask to get connected to a company, understand that most of the people you're asking that, they will literally get paid to help you. They'll literally get paid to help you, all right? And that's a tool that you can also use when you're connecting with them. You say, hey, most companies have a referral program. I think you could actually probably get paid for helping me out here. And you can bring that into the conversation somewhere. Okay, 2 more stats I got for you, then we're diving into the how-to. The next one is that 45% of people employed through referrals stay with the company for more than 4 years. All right. Again, 45% of people employed through referrals stay with the company for more than 4 years. So when you get a job through a referral, it's usually a better fit, and it's also that you're more likely to stay there for a longer time. What's up, my friend? I wanted to jump in here real quick and share with you something that has been a huge game changer in my life lately. If you know me, you know that I'm someone who's always looking for the next thing that helps me get just dialed in, focused, be massively productive, and really just get in this state that I like to call a flow, where your brain's talking to the right parts, things are connecting, and you are in just really this beautiful flow throughout your day. And recently, I came across a company that has been helping me with this in a huge way, so that I don't go through the day and have confusion. I'm not going through the day and, doing the little squirrel thing where I know what I'm supposed to do, but I'm squirreling to something else, or just being distracted and not dialed in really. And the company, it's called Magic Mind. I was introduced to it through a good friend of mine, and now I want to introduce it to you, a good friend of mine. And really what Magic Mind helped me do, it's this little 4-ounce like elixir shot that you take in the morning. You can take it with your coffee. That's personally what I do. And what it does is it helps you start to get in that state of flow. Literally, that's exactly what it does. A few of the ingredients that I'll share specifically that actually are like the process behind what it's doing is, one of the big ones that it has in it is matcha. And matcha, really what it does is it contains much less caffeine than coffee. But what it does is, interestingly enough, and I just learned this recently, it has a compound in it called catechins that basically extend the benefit of caffeine by slowing your body's ability to absorb it. So essentially what matcha is, in a nutshell, is it's like nature's extended release version of caffeine. And on top of that, it has something called Bacopa manieri, if I'm saying that correctly. And what that is it's a nootropic that improves your attention span, your ability to process and learn new information in your memory. So long story, all of those different things that I said, really it just helps you get into a state of flow, be more productive, be more focused, and really just dial in for your day. And so because this has had an impact on my life, I asked the company if they would do something special for our listener. And honestly, they're going to do something just super cool, which is, if you have an interest in, learning about Magic Mind, you want to be more productive, you want to be more focused, you want to be more dialed in, and you want to find that state of flow for your own life, they're going to basically hook you up for listening to the show and give you 56%. Yes, I said that correctly. 56% off of your first subscription order. And if you just want to do a one-time order, they'll give you 20% off. You can do either way, whatever works best for you. And all you need to do is, if you go to magicmind.co, so not com, but .co/direction, and you enter the code direction20 at checkout, you will get both of those discounts. Again, the website is magicmind.co/direction. And just enter the code direction20 at checkout, and you'll get 20% off your first time order, or 56% off your first subscription order. And truly, from my heart to yours, my friend, I really do believe this will help you in life. I hope you believe it'll find direction, get clarity, and live in that state of flow, which honestly, life is so much better and so much more fun when you're living in a state of flow. So go check that out. Go dive into the link. Go check the product out. Use the discount. And let me know how you like it, my friend. Back to the show. All right. Then the last stat I'm going to give you is that 88% of employers claim that their best above average candidates come through referrals. I mean, listen to these for a second, right? It's crazy. If 88% of employers claim that their best above average candidate comes through referrals, then what do you think happens when all of a sudden someone from their company refers someone to a position? All of a sudden they go, man, if 88%, and they probably don't know those numbers maybe consciously, but if they go, man, most of our referrals are, above average, they're now excited to have a conversation with you, versus the truth is, I think with a lot of employers, they're not excited to, sift through 100 different applications, to go through all of that. A referral is so much easier for them to bring someone into the company. They will pay their employees to do it. And as the stats I just mentioned, you can listen to them back again if you want. So many of the stats show that employers would rather find someone through a referral than just an application. All right. So now that you know some of the stats, now that hopefully you're going, okay, maybe I'm open to this. Maybe I'm open to not finding a job through a job application, and maybe there is a way that I can get my next job through a referral. So what we want to dive into next is how can you begin to then leverage referrals, right? How can you actually start to do this now that you know the stats? And what I want to share with you is an idea and a concept called strong ties versus weak ties. Now, this is a concept I discovered by a woman named Dr. Meg J, who wrote a book called The Defining Decade. And if you're listening to this episode, my friend, I am pumped to share with you that she's actually coming on for our next guest episode. So make sure you tune into that one. It's going to be unfreaking believable. But the idea and concept of strong ties versus weak ties is that strong ties are people that you're really close with, aka your best friends. And then weak ties are more like acquaintances, people you know a little bit, but you don't know a ton. It could be your best friend, or excuse me, a weak tie could be the kid you played soccer with in third grade that you're not really friends with anymore, but you know of each other, right? It could be someone that you sort of kind of know, but not really well. That is your weak ties. Now, what studies have found is that the people that often open doors of opportunity in your life are your weak ties. So again, when we go back to this idea of, man, I don't have the biggest network, I don't know a ton of people, what oftentimes I see is that you may not know a lot of people in strong ties. You may not have a huge network of people that are your best friends, right? That are your ride or dies. But if you look at your weak ties, we all have loads of weak ties in our life. These could be everybody you went to high school with. This could be people you met in college. This could be people you met through sports. This could be your relatives. This could be your relative's friend that they know. This could be your mom's old friend that she knows, right? It's like your weak ties are such a large network of the people that you know, right? So they're not people that you need to know super well. They're people that you kind of sort of know. So what we want to do is, now that we know weak ties and strong ties, I really want you to grasp the idea that the people you're going to network with are not going to be people that you are best friends with. They're not going to be people that you're super close with. They're not going to be people that you know extraordinarily well. So that being said, how we start to apply this is two different ways. One is, first you need to find your target, right? So you need to have an idea of what industry you want to go into, or better yet, more specifically, what company you want to go work for. If you can nail down those two things, you have a huge, huge, huge start. So again, know what's the industry you want to go in, or what's the company that you want to work for. The next thing that you want to do is, I want you, if you're really serious, you're going, Stu, I'm trying to find my next career, or I'm unemployed, or I'm not happy where I am and I want a new place. If you're really serious, and I know that only a handful of people will really do this, but if you're really serious, I want you to make a list of 100 people that you sort of kind of know. And in that 100, yes, you can put people that you know really well as well. You can put your mom, your dad, your best friends, your aunts, uncles that you're really close with, maybe a professor you were close with. But I want you to make a list of 100 people that you could reach out to, all right? And you can go through your Instagram. You can look through who your friends there. You can go through Facebook, look at who are your friends there, right? You can go and reminisce on who were past professors that you had, right? You want to just start to build a list. And as you start to build it, you're going to start to catch a little bit of momentum to continue to build it. And again, those are some of the resources you can use. You can use your Facebook friends to look at. You can use your Instagram friends, your TikTok friends. You can use past professors. You can think of what were past sports teams I was a part of, right? Just start to build a list of the people that you sort of kind of know. All right, that's what you're going to do. After you get your list of 100 people, what you want to do is you want to reach out to them and say something really, really simple. It could be a text, it could be an email, it could be a DM on Instagram if you haven't talked to them really that recently. And all you're going to do is, in this message, say, hey, I know this is super random, but you actually just popped up into my head the other day. I'm curious, do you happen to know anyone in the XYZ industry? Do you happen to know anybody in the XYZ company? Really, really simple. That's all you're going to say. Now, what you'll notice is, yes, obviously not everybody's going to respond, but what's so fascinating is I oftentimes go to colleges around the country and talk to students about again, sort of figuring out what's the next thing you're going to do. And we talk a lot about networking. And every time I'm in a room of whether it's literally 25 people or 400 people, we go through this process. And we go through the room and we say, okay, what's a company? We find one person in the room. Say, what's a company that you would want to work for, that you'd be really, really excited about? And one, for example, that was in the school that I was working with is a gentleman goes, oh, I'd love to work for Aston Martin, the car company. And so through the room, we asked everybody, there was about 350-ish people in the room. We said, who here knows someone that either works for Aston Martin or works in or around sort of that space? And actually, scratch that. It was just for Aston Martin. Who here has a connection in some way, shape, or form to Aston Martin, whether you know someone that works there or you know someone who knows someone who works there? And in the room of 350 people roughly, we had, I believe it was about 6 or 7 people that raised their hand that knew somebody. It's crazy. I've been in a room of 40 people. Someone wanted to work for, I think it was Lego, and we had one person in the room of 40 people that knew someone at Lego, right? So what you understand is that people know people. Again, some people will say, hey, I don't know anybody there. And the reality is the nature of human beings is we want to help, right? So if you reach out to someone, you may have some people that say no, and you may have a few people that respond and go, hey, I actually do know someone in this company, right? Now, what you'll do is once you get an introduction, right? So they say, hey, I actually have a friend who works for the company Vans. You say, amazing. Is there any way I can get, just a really quick introduction? I can send you an email that you literally can just forward to them. So you make it really easy for them. And then they connect you via email, right? Then once you get connected, you want to go through the process of crafting your resume specifically for that job. You want to prepare for the interview, but that's the way that you're going to start to get your foot in the door, is through networking. And again, building that list of 100 people and just sending them a simple message like I spoke about earlier. Now, one other thing I want to share with you to just cement the idea in of networking is there's a concept and it's called the 6 laws of separation. And what the 6 laws of separation states is that through 6 people, you can meet anybody that you want to meet in the world. And what it does when it comes to the professional aspect of getting your next job is really what it means is that at most, you are 6 people away from working and getting any job that you want. That literally, it's scientifically proven. Most of the time, it doesn't take 6 connections. It takes 2 or 3, right? So when you start to reach out to some of those weak ties, the people you sort of kind of know, they may either know someone directly in the company or they may go, oh, my friend's girlfriend actually works for that company, right? And it's someone who knows someone who you can network with. All right, real simple. So again, I know this was a mouthful. I know I gave you a lot on this episode, but if you really are saying, Stu, I want to get that next job, I want to be in a different career, a few last thoughts I want to give you is 1, do not limit yourself. Do not say, I just want to get a job. Like, ask yourself truly, what would actually excite you? Like, what would you be fired up to wake up and do every single day of your life? What would you be passionate about if you got to work with a company, an industry? What's a problem you want to solve, right? Really, don't limit yourself to saying, I just need a job. Ask yourself, what do you really want? And then once you know what you really want, whether it's the industry or a specific company, start to go through this process, right? Build a list of 100 people, reach out to them with a simple message. Hey, you randomly popped into my head. This is super random, but by chance, do you happen to know someone that works for this company? And I promise you, you will be mind blown by the amount of people that you get, maybe 1, 2, 3, maybe a couple, that actually know someone that can connect you with that company. And then, just like we spoke about, people are incentivized referrals to refer you to a company. And also, the company welcomes referrals in an even greater sense. So make the list of 100, start sending those messages, and then it's going to start to open some doors for you. All right. So yes, this is different than the job application, but I promise you, again, you go through this process, you start to send those messages. And if I could add one other caveat as we wrap up, send a follow-up message as well. So when you message them, understand people are busy in life. They may see the message. They may, go, man, I got this other 12 things that I need to do. And they just forget to respond to you. So if they don't respond in a week, just send another message, something very simple like, hey, I know you're busy, or I'm sure you're busy. I just wanted to follow up and see if you saw my last message. Real simple. You do that, those 2 things with your list of 100 people, you're going to start finding more doors of opportunity that open for you. All right, so take that approach. Other than that, that's all I got for you today. I want to say thank you again, as always, for joining me on this show. And matter of fact, if you have a friend that you know that's trying to find their next career, that's trying to find their next job, that's whether they're unemployed or they're just not happy where they want to be, I just want to ask you to send them this episode, because I promise you they're going to come back to you saying that it really did help them in their life. And as always, if you would leave us a review, we'd be super grateful to hear your thoughts and really just some of your biggest takeaways from joining us on this podcast. I appreciate you, my friend. I am grateful for you. If you do not want to go anywhere, don't feel like you need to, I have another episode coming up right after this that you are more than welcome to hang around for. So other than that, my friend, have a beautiful, outstanding, incredible rest of your day, and I will talk to you soon. Take care.